morning we're making crunchy French toast. So for the record, I'm not a huge fan of French toast, but everybody else in my house is. And this is a new recipe we've never tried before, so there's a huge possibility nobody will like it, which is always true when you're cooking for children. But they like French toast, and they like all the things that's gonna go in the French toast, so I think it'll be fine. They might balk a little bit at the texture because it's crunchy, and French toast is not usually crunchy. So we're gonna dive in. This recipe, I am doubling it to feed my large family. So you can take it up and down however you need to. Whenever you are doubling or having a recipe, keep in mind that you have to be able to add fractions together. So we're doing 12 eggs, 2/3 cups of milk, 4 teaspoons of vanilla, 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt, a cup of old-fashioned oats, a 1/2 cup of sliced almonds, 2 cups of cornflakes, and 16 slices of bread. Yes, the giant leaning tower of whole wheat bread. So first things first, you gotta wash your hands. Anytime you cook, you wash your hands first. And then anytime you're cooking with chicken and eggs, wash your hands again after you handle those items. Or really any kind of meat. Not just chicken, but meat in general. Okay, so we are going to whisk together our eggs, milk, and vanilla. It says to use a shallow bowl, but I'm using a dozen eggs here, and a dozen eggs will not fit in my shallow bowl. So we're using a big bowl. And I have perfected the art of hitting it one time and cracking it. When I was younger and fresh learning how to cook, I'd tap it a couple of times because I was afraid to crack it too hard and make a big mess. And my 5-year-old tries very hard to emulate my cooking style. And so he whacks it as hard as he can, which does crack it all over the edge. So you do have to find a nice happy medium with how hard you hit your egg to crack it. And also I prefer cracking on the side of my bowl than my counter, because if I do make a mess, it's gonna be on my bowl and not all over the countertop. And I'm gonna use what's in my bowl, so if that makes sense. And if you get shells in your bowl, it's okay, just fish them out and wash your hands afterwards. I somehow managed to not get any shells last time.
It's all done.
It's rare. I usually get shells in my bowl. Just make sure you fish them out because nobody likes big shells. Although maybe they wouldn't notice in this because it's crunchy French toast.
Oh dear.
Maybe I should throw some in there just to see.
Oh, don't.
No, I really wouldn't. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I would never really do that. Okay, 2/3 cups of milk. This is my Pampered Chef measurel. On the liquid side, we're gonna go up to that line. Looks good to me. It's fat-free milk, aka skim milk. Normally, I would recommend cooking with 2% milk. But in our house, we've recently made the switch to cooking with fat-free milk because my husband has high cholesterol. Not bad high, but high enough we need to pay attention to it. So little things like that make a difference. Now 4 teaspoons of vanilla. Remember, I've doubled this, so normally it would only be 2 teaspoons. 2, 3.
That's technically, what, 1 tablespoon or
4.
3 teaspoons tablespoon?
3 teaspoons is a tablespoon. So I could have, and it's approximately a tablespoon. It's not exactly a tablespoon.
Oh.
Yay, standard system.
I'm pretty sure that tiny little Pampered Chef, the little one, measure-alls, does have them all lined up.
It's because it's just a fraction of a difference, so it shouldn't matter. But there is a difference. The numbers don't line out perfectly. So I could have done a tablespoon plus a teaspoon. I'm just whisking these all together, making sure my egg yolks are all broken up. Also being careful not to overbeat my eggs. Overbeaten eggs tend to get stiff in a not pleasant way. That looks good. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and take this over to my stove because that's where I'm gonna need it. I do have my griddle already preheating on medium-low, and it's covered in cooking spray. Okay, in this bowl, we're gonna combine the rest of our ingredients. We're using 2 cups of cornflakes. I'm just using off-brand, it's Kroger brand cornflakes. I'm gonna put them in a gallon-sized Ziploc bag first because we need to crush them. One cup. Toaster. So I'm just closing this up, hoping that I didn't get any air in it. And I'm going to use the flat side of my meat mallet. If you don't have a meat mallet, like you could use your containers, or even the flat side of your measuring cup if you have a sturdy measuring cup. You could even do this in your blender or your food processor, but then you'd have like a dusty mess to clean up. This is the easiest way to kind of clean up that mess or contain that mess. I'm using my flat side, not the pokey side, because the pokey side will poke holes in my pasta. And then I'll have a mess.
So. Cornflakes are not hard to break.
No, they're really not. And I'm not trying very hard, and I'm not trying to get them super small. It just says crushed, not pulverized. So I think that's good. So now this time I really am using a shallow bowl. Now we need a cup of oats. This is just old-fashioned Quaker oats. 1 cup. Add that to my cornflakes. I need a 1/2 cup of sliced almonds. Then I will do a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. You probably noticed nothing sugary has gone into this. The vanilla is really the only flavor. I think regular French toast has sugar in it. We will put maple syrup out on the table for, I guess, dipping or whatever like you do on pancakes and waffles. But that's really the only sweet. The most of your carbs are going to come from the bread itself. Because even whole wheat bread, even diabetic sugar-free bread, has a lot of carbs. There's really no getting around the carbs in bread. So I don't really have a whole lot of bread anymore. We're just going to mix this up so it's a more homogeneous mixture, at least more varied throughout. The problem with the shallow bowl is it's a shallow bowl, so it's gonna make a big mess. So here's my crunchy part of my French toast, my toast part of my French toast. And I am assuming and hoping that my griddle is good and hot at this point, but I'm gonna go ahead and turn it up a little bit higher. Okay, so this says it should take about 3 to 4 minutes on each side to cook the toast. So you dip your bread, get it good and covered in that eggy mixture. I did notice that this recipe has more egg than milk. In other recipes I've done for French toast, it's a more even ratio. And milk has carbs. Even fat-free milk has carbs. And eggs do not. And so I'm guessing that's the biggest reason as to why. And now we're coating this. This is one of those mixtures or recipes where you're going to get messy. So, sorry. Getting that good and coated with the crunchy stuff and laying it on the griddle.
Wow, that's covered.
Now we're just repeating the process until my griddle is full.
Wow, and I'm sure there's some variety to how much, if you want that completely smothered in the coating, or if you want that kind of light, I'm sure you could adjust that.
Yeah, with any recipe, you can make adjustments to make it yours, to make it fit you and your family and what you guys like. That's always the case, and I highly recommend doing that. This is the first time we've made it, so I'm trying to make it as close to the recipe as possible. We did already make a change. The original recipe calls for frosted flakes, but we're using plain cornflakes just to cut out that extra little bit of sugar. And you could make this on its own and not serve anything else with it. It's so eggy that I don't want to make eggs with it, but I will make some bacon. We use a low sodium bacon for the kids, and then turkey bacon for my husband and I. If you've never tried turkey bacon, I highly recommend it. Like, I'm not a big fan of like ground turkey type meats, but like turkey meatloaf is gross, and I don't really like turkey sausage. I obviously like Thanksgiving turkey. That's actually a little hotter than I want. I can already tell. But turkey bacon tastes a lot like ham. I really liked it. So we have completely transitioned over to eating turkey bacon. And my hope is to eventually convince my kids that turkey bacon is worth eating. I'm just peeking at it because I thought I smelled burning, and I want to make sure nothing's burning. And it doesn't look like it. Now, I don't normally keep a timer going for when to flip. If you're new at cooking French toast or pancakes or waffles or whatever, anything that requires flipping, then I would recommend keeping a timer going. It's not super necessary. Okay, I'm gonna check it. Plus, I think it cooks more evenly if you flip it more often than just the one time. And I might have overcoated them because they're kind of like going everywhere. But that's okay.
I can see the some of those pieces are browning. I think some of the almonds are the first to brown.
Yeah, it does look like it's toasting. So. And I don't want it to over brown. So I'm trying to be mindful of that. And I also know that this part of the griddle is hotter because the bigger burner is here. So I bet you I could fit a couple more pieces. I am overcoating it, I can tell, because I'm about to run out of my coating. Which I have a tendency to overcoat. So the last few won't be as crunchy as the first few.
Well, and I'm sure that it's a little difficult or different with the almonds being so much bigger than crushed cornflakes and oatmeal.
Yeah.
And I realized that we measured the cornflakes before crushing them, and so that might have made a little bit of difference.
It might have. I probably should have crushed and then measured.
But that would, you know, make a small difference.
Yeah,
It's
not a
not
huge difference. Okay, I'm gonna check them again. Good. I will say the coating makes it a little difficult to know when it's done. And these are the ones I just put on. Part of cooking things like French toast and pancakes is that you're constantly readjusting your temperature. As your surface heats up, you don't need it to be on quite as high.
I assume they're going to be a little spongy, just because all this coating that you're taking off is going to keep the actual bread up off the griddle, so it's not going to crisp the bread as much. It's going to crisp the coating.
Right, and so I'm pulling some of this extra coating back into my bowl.
Oh, look at that. A little bit of ingredients on the burner.
It's fine.
Some words of Bob Marley, everything's gonna be all right.
We're just making happy little French toast here, right?
Yeah, right, the different Bob, same sort of idea.
Oh, I wasn't really even listening to you. Sorry. I just heard Bob and, yeah, never mind.
Oh.
Never mind. I love you.
You're preoccupied.
I am.
Very. You're doing a great job.
Thanks.
Ooh, toasty.
Yeah.
The French toast is toasty.
Okay, we're back, and this is my last set of bread. As I suspected, I had way more egg mixture than I needed and not enough of the crunchy coating that I needed. So next time I make these, assuming everybody likes them, I will make those adjustments. And what I will probably do is first try not coating it as thickly. And then the next time I will try, if I still end up with it being off, then I'll make more coating and less egg mixture. So each of these slices is about 22 grams of carbs, which makes sense because that's basically what the bread is. So this is our French toast. It is crunchy French toast. It is diabetic friendly, fits into carb allowances, and I don't know that it would be keto friendly. Probably because it has too many carbs. I don't know what the net carbs would be. I don't know how to do that math. Ta-da! If you liked this recipe, if you liked this video, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. That's how you're going to get notified when more videos are made. And also make sure you click that button to go over to my blog where I share healthy living tips and meal planning and a little bit about homeschool and just all the crazy things that we do here in our house. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and thank you so much for tuning in.